Suits. First of all, congratulations on the newest family member. You bust out your guitar at the wedding this weekend?
Well, what I realized was the ceremony was on the beach with just a few family members, her parents, and actually grandparents all the way from Spain were zooming in, which was 5 a.m. there or something.
Oh.
And brothers and sister, that was it. And the actual jam session reception is going to be on the 29th of the month. But they wanted to get married and actually sign the documents on the day that they met, like their first kind of day of, okay, hey, we're going to be boy and girlfriend kind of thing. And that was 15 years ago. And it was the exact same day. So that's why they wanted to do it there. And they signed the paperwork on a cooler. And I thought that's pretty cool. I mean, that, it's very unconventional, but it's their thing because they're outdoor people and they love the outdoors, skiing and hiking and biking and all those things. So it was fitting.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it was a good time. I know that we had to cut your hit a little bit short on the pregame show heading into that Ryder game in Hamilton there, just so we could stay on time and get you there on time. So I'm glad that we get your full attention today and you have my full attention. So we have lots to dive into. Where do you want to start? You want to start with that Hamilton game?
Well, yeah. I think I don't know what the narrative has been throughout the province, and I know there's disappointment, obviously, every time the team loses, there is, of course. But I don't. I've heard this one. I've heard this narrative that the defense wasn't prepared for Trey Ford, and I don't buy that. Like I know Corey Mace would have had the defense ready for either quarterback or even Dolagala if it came down to it. So I don't think that is an issue. That was a problem. 2 weeks ago when they played Ottawa, Barney asked me about the loss of Emilus and having Schaefer Baker out and having Oled out, and to be honest, this is going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one. Even if it's Ottawa, it's going to be tough because the timing is off. Will they be able to get in a groove? And I knew Trevor would take that personally probably and say, watch us do it with the next man up. And they did. Now, it was Ottawa, right? And Ottawa's been struggling to a point where when they get down by a couple of scores early in a game, I know mentally they're starting to get that, oh, here we go again feeling, and then it snowballs on them. So this was a different beast. This was a different team, and they were on the road, and they were playing the Hamilton Tiger Cats in their backyard. And Trey Ford, I know they were prepared for, but he's going to make these type of plays. Anyway, if you're watching the stream, that catch by Carrick Wheatfall was just as good as it's been this year. But that was Trey Ford, throwing off time and off schedule and kind of making it up, playground stuff. And that's why that's his skill set. And I know they were prepared for it, and that didn't work out on that particular play. But I think what happened, Tegan, is the changes on offense have caught up with the timing of the execution of that offense. And I just, they are going to kind of really have to work hard on it again this week, and just make sure before their next game, and make sure that no matter who's in the lineup, that they have a little bit better chemistry. I thought it would maybe affect them more than it did in the Ottawa game. It certainly did, I think, in the Hamilton game. I mean, you look at the numbers for Trevor Harris, 200 yards, 2 interceptions, and a touchdown. That's not him. Not this year. No way. I mean, not in his career for the most part. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying it was the receiver's fault or Trevor was off or anything like that. I just think it's so precise on offense. And when you've had to make changes and juggle guys in and out of the lineup, I think it'll affect you at some point, and I think it did in that game.
What about the depth that we've seen from this receiving core? I mean, we did get Johnny Johnson III with his first career CFL touchdown in that game in Hamilton last week. Again, we all know what the end result of it was, but that's got to be kind of a bright spot in maybe not such a great game for the green and white.
Well, it is, and it really is because of the success early in the season, and so they're in a great place to still take a run. It's going to be all the way down to the wire, I'm sure, as far as who wins the division. So the only real upside of injuries is that your young players get real playing time when it really matters and when games are important. And that's what's happening right now with this receiving core. And that will pay dividends once MLS gets back and once those guys come back. You're going to have a real deep core that is now ready to sub in if it's a game here or a game there, or knock on wood, if someone went down, one of your starters before a playoff game. Del Duncan Busby's experience right now will pay dividends then. So that's always a good, there's really no good things about injuries, but I guess that could be one of them.
Post game, head coach Corey Mace was talking to us, and he had mentioned that they needed to improve on all facets of the game. All three variations. But the one thing that we should make sure we point out, because we're going to talk about it when he's not, fired on all cylinders. We got to talk about him when he is playing well. Alex Hale was perfect, did everything asked of him, 4 for 4 on the night. Is that just a confidence thing, or do you think that it was just everything else in the game we weren't paying attention to that?
No, I think it was a competition thing. I really
Dawson
do.
Hodge?
Yes, when you bring in another kicker, or if you bring in another safety, or you bring in another quarterback, and maybe there's a temporary locker or two in the middle of the room, and there's new guys in there, I guarantee you it sharpens your focus. And for whatever reason, he's still got to be consistent in the next 3, 4, 5 games, right? This has got to continue, but nothing sharpens your focus more than a guy behind you on the depth chart. I've said it many times. You can talk to the coach and he can give you all kinds of inspirational discussions and give you the speech from Any Given Sunday from Al Pacino, and it's not gonna do what another kicker in the practice scenario and in competition with you, it's not going to do what that can do. So I think it's a reflection of that. I think he was focused. He's always had a live leg. I've said that many times. I think he's got a real strong leg, can make those long ones. And now it's just about focus and consistency, and competition sharpened that. I really believe so.
How do you balance that as a player, Glenn? I mean, obviously, if you're a guy like Alex Hale and you have Dawson Hodge coming in behind you, you want to do everything you can to be helpful and, ensure their success, but you're also kind of looking over your shoulder saying, well, yeah, I hope you do great, but don't take my job.
Yeah, I would say to you, it's a great question, but I would say that it's different for a kicker because they really don't have to talk much. I mean, their job, once it's on the tee, it's kind of their own personal swing. It's like a golf swing almost. And it's their own technique, their own steps, exactly how they do it. If it was a free safety or a receiver and you were the veteran guy, you're trying to help the young guy because he's a teammate. You're trying to help him with the offense or the defense and the schemes and the checks. And, you want to be there for your teammate. And so do the kickers, but they don't have to. It's not sort of mandatory. The kickers can kind of just do their own thing, and may the best man win almost. That's why it's such a unique job in our game. I mean, everybody is just getting banged up and back and forth and digging and tackling and blocking and all those things. And these guys come out and sometimes you go, all you need to do is do this one thing, just kick it. But the mental pressure they're under and the fact that they are kind of just standing there with clean uniforms all game and then need to walk out in a crucial moment. And those points are the difference. That's immense pressure in a lot of ways. It's really a mental game, like a golf swing, and as soon as you start getting in your own head, I think working with Ridgway, he would tell me this, that you get in your own head and you start to second guess, and then you start to make adjustments to your routine, and then it's a guessing game from there. But again, I think this competition last week was bang on the way to do it. I think Coach got what he needed, which is a focused hail, and he went out and went perfect. And I good for him. Good for him for responding.
Well, he's going to have that competition behind him again when they travel to BC to take on the surging Lions this week. I mean, when you're looking at this Riders D, what do they need to do to game plan to shut down Nathan Rourke this week?
Well, yeah, and I think they probably will have another sort of issue on their hands, which is trying to contain Xander Horvath, which in combination possibly with James Butler, both excellent players, but both very different type of players. Horvath is a big guy. I mean, he's like a 6'3", 235, almost fullback size with tailback speed and great moves in the hole. So yeah, it's like he's a triple threat, they used to say in the performing arts business. But you combine that with Nathan and that receiving core again, how they're healthy and they're getting their guys back. They got Hatcher and McInnes, and they're all coming back now healthy. So yeah, listen, they're gonna have to be sharper in their rules, in their like for instance, if you're a defensive end and you have containment, you have to be sharper in that. You can go back and look at the Hamilton tape and say, we didn't keep Trey Ford where we needed to keep him, which was in the pocket. And he got outside. When he got outside, he made plays. So Nathan can do that too. Nathan can run. So you gotta be just on the details, basically.
Offensively, I know you spent a lot of time around quarterbacks in this league, Glenn. What do you think Trevor Harris was thinking on that flight back home? Before even watching the tape, and then now thereafter, I'm sure he's already back up on the horse and trying to figure out what he was doing. But how does he mentally bounce back from a game like that in Hamilton?
Yeah, he's been there, done that, and if I know Trevor at all, I know that he will be taking full responsibility for it. And it wasn't just him. It was all three phases, as Coach Mace talked about after the game. But I know Trevor to be that guy who says, I need to be better for us to have an opportunity to win. So he will approach it that way. I don't think when you're a guy like Trevor who puts in the time that he does, both physically and mentally in the preparation, that to say that he was now, because of the loss, is going to go and try to work harder is silly, because there is no harder. He's putting in every ounce of everything he has and every bit of time he can get to prepare for the BC Lions next and their defense and the challenges that they bring in. So you correct the mistakes, you see where you could have done things slightly differently, make sure you register those, and then move on. The part that I think Trevor probably throughout his entire career has had to deal with is putting too much of it on himself. And that's where his teammates come by and make sure he knows that, hey, I got a bad penalty on a return on special teams. That didn't help us either. And that's one thing, by the way, that the Riders need to clean up a little bit is their penalties on the teams.
So cleaning up those penalties against a team that's really finding their stride out in BC. I know you're calling the game, right?
I am, yes. Oh, can't wait. It's the game of the week.
It's going to be entertaining because this is a dogfight in the West. I mean, not to go backwards too far here, but BC goes into Calgary, knocks off the Stamps. I mean, are the Lions slowly now becoming what they thought they were going to be at the start of the season now that they are getting healthy?
Yeah, I think many of the experts across the country felt the Lions would be the team to beat in the West. When I looked at the D line in Calgary, I thought they're going to make some noise with that defense. Saskatchewan, of course, returning with a lot of their core players and some of even the young guys taking another step. I thought they would be in the fight. We all knew Edmonton would be better. So I think it was quite a shock, actually, when the Lions went 0-3 to start the season. And I think that surprised a lot of people. So yeah, to answer your question, I think most people are looking at this team now and an improved defensive effort. Remember, you go back to the Western Final last year, and they gave up the entire field to Trevor Harris for the winning touchdown, playing almost like a prevent look defense. And they took a lot of criticism. Mike Benavides, their defensive coordinator, took a lot of heat for that. And then they started 0-3, giving up at times over 40 points in a couple of those games, I believe. So now the people, the experts are looking at it saying, hey, your defense isn't good enough. But that's not the case anymore. That BC defense now is ranked, in the top 5, and that defense has come a long way and is playing much better. So it's a different beast now than it was early in the season, and I think the experts maybe the experts are cheering. This is one of the reasons I don't make predictions, Tegan, is because if I make a prediction, you're going to hear me cheering for the team I predicted would win.
Your employer
and
might
that
not
wouldn't
like
be
that.
Good. Yeah.
It's going to be a fun game to watch this week, and I'm really looking forward to it. I do just want to quickly shift gears here to the other Rourke, the up-and-coming Curtis Rourke, who's been making a name for himself down in San Francisco during 49ers training camp. I do understand that, he was playing in that NFL preseason game, went down, a little bit nicked up. Sounds like he's back with the club now, though, with limited reps to prove himself. What are you seeing in his game south of the border that's maybe making him stand out amongst the rest?
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of it myself on tape and things, so I'm going off of the quotes of, coaches there, and it's just what I've read, which is that he is not out of place. He looks good. He's got great arm talent. The problem, and it's a problem for a lot of guys that go down. I know he got drafted, so it's a little different for him. But if you haven't been drafted and you go down there, the politics you're dealing with are immense. Like you're not getting very many reps. You're going to be way down in the depth chart, and if the reps that you do get don't end up in your area or don't end up he could get 3 reps in a practice, and those 3 reps could be handoffs. I mean, how do you show you're a great quarterback when you're handing the ball off? I mean, it's a difficult one. So that's what he's facing as a challenge. But they do like him. I've heard people say he's better than Nathan. I'm not going to say that until I see him.
Ooh, clip that. That's clickbait.
I've heard that. I've heard that, Tegan. People have said that, and I just go, whoa, hold on. He has to go out and play a full season before I can even start to say it's close, right? So, but we all wish the best for him. We hope he does make it and stick, and I would say because he was drafted, he's looking at least another year before, if he's kind of bouncing around and on practice rosters or injured lists or whatever they put him on, and he's not dressing for games, eventually he's going to say, like Nathan did, I want to play. I want to lead a team.
And that's the intriguing part for Saskatchewan Roughrider fans being under contract with the green and white. I mean, potentially when Trevor Harris decides that he wants to hang up the cleats for good, and I'm not suggesting he's going to do that anytime soon, this could be the future of the franchise for the Riders.
Nathan against Nathan.
Could you imagine how much fun that would be?
Rourke, or I should say Rourke versus Rourke, not Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan versus Curtis, but same thing.
Yeah,
I knew what you meant.
They do have different first names. Rourke versus Rourke, and it would be cool because Canadians and all of that. But speaking of Canadians, and I don't mean to sidetrack here, but how about our flag football girls and men? First of all, the women's team
beating the U.S.
Knock off the USA and punch their ticket to the Olympics, which they had anyway because they had won the semifinal. But they beat the USA, and many are down there now saying that Canada, from the women's side, has really closed the gap. And it's anyone's gold medal in a couple of years. The men win the bronze, and because the USA is the host team, and if you're watching the feed, you're seeing a little of the action right here. I mean, Sarah Parker, how about her MVP of the entire tournament in Germany? That's our quarterback for the women. And Michael O'Connor, who is a teammate of Nathan Rourke's in BC, quarterbacked the men's team, and they won the bronze. But because the USA is the host team in the Olympics, and they won the tournament down there, they already had their berths, so it was the next two. And so Italy and Canada punched their ticket on the men's side as well to get to the Olympics in 28. So mission accomplished for both teams. And man, I'm getting excited about this flag, man. It's everybody is playing it, everybody loves it, and now it's a chance that our country could go and, these guys could go represent Canada and win a gold medal.
And that would be such a cool thing to see, Glenn. I do just want to ask from your perspective. Obviously, Saskatchewan, we're a football province. We kind of always have been. Record flag football registration numbers. So there's a lot of people around here really excited. But what do you think? What do you think this could mean for not only flag football, grassroots football organizations throughout Canada, but also the CFL?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, I know there's some concern in the tackle football minor world that the people that are playing, the kids that are playing flag, are not transferring as much as they thought they would to tackle. But let's just wait and see how that pans out. This is a real sort of explosion of popularity in the flag world, and what it's doing is it's throwing and catching the football. It's those fundamentals that are so important at all levels, with tackle or flag or touch, whatever level you're playing at. That skill set is unique through all of it. It's the same through all of it. So I think it can only be good. And the one thing that every other sport has been able to do that we couldn't in football was have an Olympic event, have Team Canada in football, because you can't play a tackle football game the next day. You have to rest your body for a week, and there's no way you could fit that in a couple of weeks of the Olympics. So football was never on the international stage like that. They were at different levels, juniors and things like that, but not when it came to the Olympics. Full-on coverage, millions of people watching, gold medals on the line, and now it can happen. And if it happens with a couple of NFL players sprinkled in there, which will be an interesting debate as we get going, Tegan, and maybe a couple CFL players sprinkled in there too, man, that can only help the popularity. You can watch them win a gold medal, Canadians, and let's just hypothetically, I haven't heard this. I know the coach down there in Paul-Police, but this is not inside information. But let's say Sam Emelis is on the team and he wins a gold. There's going to be a whole bunch of kids that see him win the gold and go, you know what? I want to go see him. He's a Saskatchewan Rough Rider as well. I want to go see him play tackle football as well. So I think it's only great, only good stuff.
And it's only going to boost Olympic viewership numbers here in Canada. I can guarantee you that.
Right?
For sure.
It really will. It really will. You're bang on. I think, you watch the 100 meters and a couple of other events, but people will be locked into flag football. I've already put in my request, and it's not even my volunteer notice. I want to volunteer to help cover the flag football tournaments, especially the Olympics in LA, because
you and probably
I just
all
want
of
to be
your
around
coworkers.
it. It's fun. Yeah, it's tons of fun. It's high scoring. It's athletic, and it's throwing and catching the football. I love it.
I mean, historically, we're known for loving our Winter Olympics, but 2028 is going to be a little different. I cannot wait. And plenty to talk about as we get closer. But Glenn, I have taken up far too much of your time. So appreciate you doing this as always. Thank you. We'll have you on a little bit later on this week. Oh, and have a great call this weekend.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And just for all the fans to understand, I'll make sure I have a purple tie, not an orange one or a green one, okay, when I do the Rider game. And I'm not cheering, nor am I cheering for the other team to compensate for cheering. I'm not doing that either. I'm just calling it the way I see it and not cheering for either team. I want to see a good football game.
You really got in trouble for the color of your tie from the fans?
Oh, yeah. At least one tweet or something with, I see you got a blue tie. You got a blue tie on. Maybe you're an Argos fan. I guess you're an Argos fan. No.
Yeah, because that's going to impact the outcome on the field, Glenn.
Yeah, exactly.
My gosh.
Exactly. So there'll be no cheering. Just calling it like I see it, and let's hope it goes down to overtime.
I love that. Let's bring it on. Okay, have a great call. Have a good week, and we'll touch base this weekend.
Thanks, Egan. Take care.
All right.